I'm sorry. I I'm very upset right now. Someone sent me a message, and of course they sent like four or five. So it just stopped recording after the first one, and it's frustrating. I don't understand why it cuts me off. But now I really don't know. I'm really frustrated. Um, I was going to delete it and redo it because it was like 2.5 minutes, but I'm not going to. I'll just leave it like that if you don't mind. But I don't remember where I ended up stopping. I really don't. I mean, go ahead. Yahuah has promised to bless all the work of your hands. Yahuah shall command the blessings upon thee, and in all that you have thine hand unto. Yahuah shall bless all the work of your hand. Deuteronomy. I know I read that. Okay. Let me breathe. Okay, let's see. However, um, if you are not setting your hands to something, Yahuwah does not have anything to bless. You can't just sit at home doing nothing and expect Yahuwah to prosper you. It does not work that way. You are not going to see Yahuwah begin to prosper you if you are not working. In fact, the word says, "This we command you, that if any would not work, neither shall he eat." 2 Thessalonians 3:10. Working, some people think that this means working in a job, and some people says this is working for the kingdom. Maybe both. I know Paul in the Bible went out and he made tents. I believe this is him talking, but he made tents so it would not be a burdensome for others to support him. And I know the Messiah told the others to go, don't take anything, no money in your purses, nothing, don't take anything with you, and you will be taken care of. So lately, I have always thought that it meant working for your own type of. And that's how I was taught, work for your own. But lately, last couple days or so, I've been thinking about the ministry Yahuwah wants for me, going across seas. And I'm like, well, how will I be able to provide for myself and for my family? And I've had people tell me all different kinds of things. And, I mentioned this scripture here saying that the scripture says if we don't work, we don't eat. And a sweet lady friend, she said that that's talking about working for Yahuwah, working in the field. Um, and I kept, your mind keeps going and going and going, and you're like, well, this is what I've always been told, no, I don't think you're right. So I have to go apologize to her because I think she's right. When we are told to go do something by the Ruach HaKodesh, like the lady I was telling you about, she did not have money. She just got on the bus and came here. Once she got here, what money did she have? And Yahuwah gave to her and blessed her. And so if we are doing Yahuwah's will, He will always send someone to help us. So that, pray about it. I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying that at all. Pray about it. and see what Yahuah has to say. Yahuah might be saying, hey, quit your job and go into ministry work, or write a book for me, or something. And maybe you're biting with this too. There's a head knowledge that gets us into trouble, you know, and there's a heart knowledge, a spiritual knowledge, so to speak. You know, um, their brain, is hard and don't want to bring in any new thoughts. So always pray over everything. And if you believe Yahuah is telling you to do something, have those who are spiritually fit pray for you, and you will get your confirmation somehow. I have had people say, oh no, me, when Yahuah tells me something, I'll sit here and I'll say, hey, Yahuah told me this, he taught me this, he said this, he said that. And my problem is I did not discern who I was telling, I just assumed that they were like on the same spiritual wavelength as I was, and it got me into trouble. They were not. They're like, no, Yahuah would never say that. Yahuah would not do that. He would not tell you to do that, and blah, 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 blah. So we have to be careful, because me listening to other people when Yahuah was telling me to do something really messed me up. So please don't do that. Use discernment. If you don't have it, pray for it. And pray, Yahuah, give me discernment. This person, help me. No matter what, Yahuah will always confirm what he wants you to do. He will send someone that you won't even know. I've had that happen to me before. There was several different people. Hey, I was told this. The spirit told me to tell you this. And I'm like, wow. You. I don't know if anyone has ever done it to you, but yeah, that is amazing. So no matter what, no matter if you have no one around that you could talk to, no one that is spiritually in tune like you may think, Yahuah will always send someone to you to confirm it. And in me, he confirmed it not once, not twice, but several times. So I'm sorry for being disobedient, not listening, Father. I'm stupid. Please forgive me. Make me smart. Okay. Let's see. Yahuah is into work. He's into you doing something productive. That's why welfare is currently being practiced in our country. That is why welfare is not hold on. I got myself crazy. Okay. That's why welfare, as it is currently being practiced in our country, is not a godly concept. I'm not saying that any person who's receiving welfare is ungodly. I'm not saying that Yahuah hates them or they're in sin, but I am saying that this is not Yahuah's system, which I have to stop right there. I am on welfare. I'm sure some of you are. So don't let this get you down. I work 40 hours a week and some overtime, but especially single parents, we don't make enough to pay our bills, more or less, put food on our table, and all. And I'm taking care of so many people here. So don't let this get you depressed or bring you down. The scriptures tell us that the assembly are supposed to be reaching out and feeding the poor and helping them pay bills and just helping them out in general. And I have found since we've been here how the churches, um, they do not do what they're supposed to do. And those that help pay bills or whatever, help feed or give you bags of food, usually if it's food, it's junk people don't want to eat. You know, that's really not right. Don't give them your leftovers that you don't want. Um, and the churches say, well, I've got your application. We're going to go have a meeting and, talk it over with our elders and blah, 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 blah. We have to meet with our uh, company meters or whatever. That is not biblical. That is not biblical. This is why people are going to the government for help, because they are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. They are not. And they're like, well, we got to go talk to so and so. We got to do this. No, that is not biblical. That just, it irritates me. It makes me mad. And it should make you mad too. If the churches, if the people would come together and do what they're supposed to be doing and reaching out to the poor and helping, none of us would have to go to the government for anything. Okay, that being said, it kind of upsets me that he had to go here, because I guess he's not aware that the churches are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that is why we have to go to the government for help. So that's really, this thing really is upsetting. Let me continue. Anyone might need help on occasion. There's nothing wrong with you taking the help of other people or a government if you're in a situation where you need it. But to be second, third, or fourth generation welfare recipient, where you just sit at home and let the government pay for you for doing nothing, that is ungodly, which I agree. I agree. I have known plenty of people who would rather sit home having babies with every man, whatever, they have a child by different men, and they just have babies just to collect money. They collect money and food stamps and they don't do anything. That is wrong. That is wrong. Now, if something happens and you have to be put on welfare because the churches are not doing their job to help you and to help you become better so you won't have to keep depending on them. Now, that's something different too. But if you are not working, then you're going to keep having to do it. Me, I work all the time. And I need assistance, that's, I'm supporting me, my son, my mom, and my sister and her family's here, my niece and her husband and her baby's here. So it's a very hard situation. But if you can work, go out and work. And if Yahuah is calling you into ministry of whatever situation that is, go do what Yahuah said. He will bless you. But we as a unit, we're supposed to be a unit. We're supposed to be the assembly, reaching out to people and helping people when we can. So let's go ahead and continue. If you're going to get into Yahuah's divine flow of provision, then you will need to start doing some things to release that power and see this anointing begin to generate the income you need. Yahuah has given you the power to get wealth, But you need to do something. You need to work. You need to set your hand to something productive. One of our partners worked as the CEO at a corporation. However, this company downsized and he was laid off. So he started drawing unemployment for a period of time. He wanted to work, so he put in resumes all over the town. But this was during an economical challenging time and he was overqualified. Therefore, no one would hire them. They were afraid he was going to take their jobs. And so when he was a few weeks away from getting his house repossessed and losing everything, he came to me and asked, "What do I do?" I answered, "Get a job." He said, "I'm trying." I continued, "No, I mean get a job until. There's nothing wrong with you believing for another CEO job or something similar, but until your better paying job comes in, get a job stocking shelves or flipping hamburgers." This guy was highly offended. I'm a CEO. I could not do something like that. Besides, I need more money than that. My house is about to be repossessed. He was something like $4,000 to $5,000 behind, and he had not worked in over a year. I told him if you would have been stocking shelves or flipping hamburgers for the past year, you would have had enough money to keep this house from being repossessed, while you still sought the job you're believing for. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to stay there. My leg's asleep, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to stay there, but you have got to do something. By doing nothing, you are abdicating your responsibility and keeping the blessing of Yahuah that He wants to give you from manifesting. You can pray, and you might get a miracle that will tide you over for the next week or month. But then you'll have another crisis next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. But then you'll have another crisis next month. I got confused. Sorry. You are not going to see the supernatural flow of finances start manifesting in your life until you recognize Yahuah gave you the power and opportunity to get wealth. You need to stand up and use that power and authority by doing something. I have the TV going in the background and the video with the song, and it changed and it affected my eyes, and with my glasses it kind of confused me. I couldn't really see. You see there, like, bifocals or whatever. Okay. Many people are waiting on for their ship to come in, but they have never sent one out. They're waiting on a crop to grow, but they have not sown any seed. They're believing Yahuah for a great supply, but they have not cooperated with His spiritual laws concerning prosperity. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, and shaken together, and running over, shall man give into your bosom. For with the same measure that you mete withal, it shall be measured to you again." Luke 6:38. This verse, a lot of pastors use this verse to get tithes from you. But this verse is not talking about giving the pastor tithes. It is talking about helping people, helping as you see, helping with money, finances, with food, clothing, whatever they need. I don't understand how these pastors, like, give me tithes, give me tithes. No, you're supposed to give to the poor. You're supposed to give to the needy. You're supposed to help people. Are you using a tiny little thimble, throwing Yahuah $5 here and there, thinking that you're really being generous, when the truth is the tithe of your paycheck would be $200, $300, or $400? Are you tipping Yahuah and wondering how come my finances are not coming in? I'm praying and believing for prosperity. Yahuah said he would give back to you with the same measure that you used. If you're using a thimble, then he's going to use a thimble to give back to you. And if you need a bucket full of finances, it's going to take a long time for Yahuah to measure that back to you with the same measure you gave out. This is how the kingdom works. Yahuah does not give you money. He gives you the power to get money. Then there are things you must do to release that power. One of them is to set your hand to something. Stocking shelves or flipping burgers is better than getting welfare. But Andrew, I'm actually making more money off of welfare than I could working one of those jobs. The difference is Yahuah cannot bless welfare, but he can bless stocking shelves or flipping hamburgers. He could promote you to a manager position. While there, you can meet someone who could give you a promotion or even offer you another job. But when you're doing nothing, you're hindering the power of Yahuah from flowing in your own life. You always have to be busy doing something. Working, doing Yahuah's will. Whatever Yahuah has called you to do, if you do it, you will bless it. It's not Yahuah who fails to answer our prayers. It is us who fail to take the authority and use it properly. Now it's the outline. I'm not going to go through all that. This lesson had several good things in it. Using the woman getting pregnant. I thought, I watched his teaching on TV, and they go into more death, of course. But when he was talking about the woman wanting a child, I thought he was going to go into something else, which it's probably somewhere in the book, and that is very interesting. But that's pretty amazing how he used the woman getting pregnant as an illustration. Of course, we all know how women get pregnant, and it is up to us to, if we don't want to get pregnant, then we don't have we don't have relationships. And once we get pregnant, it's like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Just like we're supposed to speak things and be cooperative and, use the power that he has given to us. I shared a post one time talking about a woman's womb, how it's like a spiritual portal. If you think about it, some people said it was like a mystics thing, or I don't remember what they said. But if you think about it, it's true. The woman's body, her womb is a portal, because once that egg gets fertilized, the soul comes in the womb into the baby, and people don't realize how amazing that is. So I don't know why I said that, but I think it's amazing, and how he used the woman getting pregnant as an illustration. And I'm sure if you think about it, you'll probably get different ideas, and Yahuah might reveal something else to you. So just think about all this. Remember, it is up to us. We have been given the authority, we have been given the power. And people don't realize it has more. It's not just about making money or healing. It's a lot more than that, and people don't realize it. Even I don't realize how much it means, but I am. The more and more I realize, it means so much. Just like I knew today I needed to do my teaching. I feel it spiritually when I don't do my teachings. Last time I forgot. It was what, 6 days, and I'm like, wait, it's been 6 days, really? And but each day that passed, I felt it spiritually, and I knew something was not right. And then finally, I'm like, what is it? What is going on? And that's what it was. So each day when you do not do what you're supposed to do, you will feel it spiritually. Excuse me, I'm trying to get comfortable. It's hard. I'm sitting on the floor because my phone's on charge, because Satan was all out for me today. Satan does not want us to be obedient. But what I was saying is, I had it in my mind. I said, I'm going to do this. I studied some yesterday, and I knew I couldn't study at work because for some reason when I want to study, it's like time flies and I don't get no studying done, because next thing I know, I have to clean. So I left my study book here, and I'm like, yeah, when I get home, I'm going to try to study a little bit and do my teaching, and everything will be good. I was having a nice day, and then all of a sudden, Satan sends someone to come at me, and it got me upset. And I'm not going to go into details. Maybe, well, one of my teachings, they say something about this situation, um, but I'm not going to go through it detail by detail, but I'm just going to like go through it. But this situation is not a very good situation. So Yahuah told me that I did something that I was not supposed to do, that he told me not to do. And I prayed, and after I did it, I'm like, Yahuah, please bless this situation. Bless this situation. And let it be good. Let it be good. Just bless it. And Yahuah said, no, I'm not going to bless something when I told you not to do it. You need to get yourself out of the situation. And so I repented. I said, I'm sorry, and broke my heart. I cried, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm repenting. And I turned away from the situation. And this other person that was involved, he refuses to listen to Yahuwah's will. He's not, his heart is evil and black, but he pretends to be a good Christian man. And I'm sure y'all know people like that. So just be careful. But he is coming against me, and just because I'm listening to the Ruach HaKodesh, following Yahuah, he is telling people all kinds of things about me, saying that I'm evil and all this, which Yahuah knows. He knows what happened, he knows everything. But this guy is giving me many problems, and then all of a sudden he switched and became this nice, caring, loving person. I'm like, no, you're a deceiver. I'm not going to be a part of being deceived by you anymore. You're being used by Satan. Satan has controlled him, And it's really sad, but he is being controlled by Satan, and he refuses to acknowledge it. And I've told him many times, Yahuah has said this, he has said this, and this, and this. And finally, I was getting upset with him today. And I was really getting upset. And he's like, no, never, And I was really getting upset. I'm like, how can Satan win? Satan cannot win. And I'm like, Yahuah, I started crying and praying. And I'm like, Yahuah, you know what's going on. You know exactly what's going on. Why is this happening? How can Satan use this guy? How can this be going on? And Yahuah said, hey, I'm in charge, not Satan. I am in charge. No matter what he says, I am in charge. And that did something, I'm like, you're right. I'm sorry. I doubted you. And that's what we do. We doubt. We doubt so much over anything. Just like when this guy's attacking me and doing all these crazy things and saying what he was saying. And I started doubting, it might not have been doubting Yahuwah's words, but I was doubting that Yahuwah was in charge, that he was going to handle this. And once he said, hey, I'm in control. What I want will come to pass, but you have to be with me. That's the key. We have to always be with him. And that really did something, And once Satan knew that he couldn't use that guy anymore, he stopped talking to me. And then later on, when I got here, different things happened. And I'm like, Satan, you're not going to win. Yahuwah has already defeated you. Yeah, Satan's going to always try, but we have to rely on Yahuwah no matter what's going on. Say, Yahuwah, you are in control. This is what you want me to do, so I'm going to do it one way or another. And we have to keep that positive thought always. And today, Satan used something that he tried to bring me down, but instead, Yahuwah turned it around and gave me, built my faith up and gave me a blessing, just knowing, And I know you probably don't want to hear all that, but I hope it blesses you. And I hope if something comes up like that and you're going crazy and you're like, what's going on? How could this be going on? I know, you who has told me that I was going